Hi everyone, welcome back to Vedic Life Coaching. Thank you so much for joining me, and welcome to the Sidereal Vedic Astrology Outlook for the month of March. Now, what can we expect this month for March? I think it's going to be a very interesting month, but for me, I think this is a lead-up month. We are leading up to April. April is going to be a very interesting month astrologically. In fact, the last few days before we get into April is going to be very interesting. We've got Saturn stepping into Pisces, and we're going to feel the effects of that for 2 to 3 years. So that is huge. Many of you will be feeling that right now. So we've got that big movement. On the 29th of March, we also have an eclipse. Mid-month onwards, this month, we've got 2 planets retrograde. So Venus will be retrograde and Mercury will be retrograde. What I'll do is I'll put the dates for the retrogrades on the screen now, because I'm just looking through my notes. I don't think I've actually got those written anywhere. So I'll put the retrograde dates on the screen now. So mid-month onwards, 2 planets retrograde. Towards the end of March, we've got an eclipse. We've got Saturn stepping into a new sign, which only happens every couple of years, really. So we've got this energy, this lead up, and then we've got April. And April has 6 planets congregating there in Pisces. So April is going to be very, very interesting as well, because all of these planets and all of us, we're all going to be getting acquainted with the new Saturnian energy, with the new training ground for the next 2 to 3 years. So we're all going to be experiencing it firsthand. I think how this could work is there could be either it's going to feel abstract, or it's going to be confusing, or, you know, there's like a transition period that happens. And I think that is how we're going to be experiencing the month of April. It could feel like confusion is the sense that I'm getting. But I'll take you through the notes that I have. Before I do that, I just want to welcome all the new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining. I think you'll find this to be a really nice community. Everybody is lovely in the comments. We don't have, you know, any fights in the comments or any of that. People get along, people help each other. It's a really wonderful community. So hope you enjoy your time here. And you can, of course, click on the description below. Somewhere in the video I'll be putting timestamps, and you can just jump ahead to whichever bit you like. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the big energies that we've got coming up. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about was the Parivartana exchange that's happening between Taurus and Pisces. If you have a look at the position of Jupiter and Venus, you'll see that they are exchanging, and they have been exchanging since 28th January 2025, and they will continue exchanging until 14th May 2025. So we have this Parivartana exchange happening in the sky for all of this time. And this is really important actually, because the exchange is happening between Taurus and Pisces. So what do we have in Taurus? We have got big money, we've got wealth, we've got savings, we've got the things that sustain us. You know, we've got food and farming in here as well. We have even fashion and art and beauty, and I mean, you know, beauty and art often gets us through difficult times and all of that. So Taurus is a real sustaining sort of an energy. And when we look at Pisces, what do we have here? So we've got Taurus. Let's look at that in the context of big money and wealth. And Pisces. Now, one of the things that we can have here with Pisces, yes, we can have loss, but we can also have gaps. And this occurred to me because very recently I did a reading for one of you out there, and in that reading, now this was someone who is young and creating a wonderful career, but wants very much to do service work, wants very much to be on the spiritual path and be doing his spiritual work out in the world. And I'm sure this person is super gifted at all of that. But when I looked at the dasha setup for this person, I could see, oh, you know, you've got a really great time period that you're in right now where you could actually do things like, you know, set up a pension or pay off properties or do these various big earthly things. You can materialize a lot of stuff right now. And it's funny because I put all of this on the recording on my computer. And I wanted to tell you this story because this is an instance where artificial intelligence, you know how all of our computers and phones are actually spy tools. Well, here's an example of these spy tools helping me out, because soon after the reading, I went on YouTube, and clearly YouTube had been listening to me as well. And so a video came up on my dashboard that was for pensions. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll click on that. And I'm actually going to share that video with all of you because I think it's really relevant, because it really connects in with this Parivartana exchange. Also, it's extremely relevant to those of you who are living in the United Kingdom. If you are self-employed, you'll want to have a look at this video. I'm going to put a thing on the screen. I'll put a link below. You'll be able to access this video. It's important for people aged between 40 and 73. I've got here, you have a unique opportunity to top up your state pension record. So this is the government pension record. You can go and look it up, and if you have any gaps, you can go and fill those gaps. And this really fits in with the Parivartana exchange. I couldn't believe it. When I was writing the notes today and I saw the exchange, I was like, oh, no wonder all of this is coming up at this time. Apparently you have until 6th of April in order to fill the gaps. And what I would say is that if you go on there and you see that the gaps, you have to, let's say you might have to pay £700 to £900 to fill 1 year. Well, it's worth calling HMRC. I'll put the number on the screen for HMRC, just in case it helps anyone. You can call them. I've had to do some of this, by the way. And call them and say to them, look, I'm actually self-employed sole trader, and they'll bring that figure right down. And you'll be able to easily fill those gaps. But it's quite incredible that this government activity is happening at the time of this Parivartana exchange between Taurus, which is big money, and Pisces, which we could look at as loss, but we could also look at it as gaps. So this is a time where you can go back over your financial records and fill in any gaps, or, you know, maybe there's some admin that you need to do. If you're not here in the United Kingdom, maybe you're in another country, and it's, you know, maybe it's that time in your life where you have to start thinking about things. And so this could be that kind of time. So there's a Parivartana exchange happening in the sky, and it's literally translating to getting everyone to sort out their financial records. Another thing I wanted to bring up is the Akshaya Tritiya date as well, to help your future planning. So Akshaya Tritiya is when the sun and the moon are exalted. They're both going to be exalted this year on the 29th of April. So it goes from late in the evening, 28th of April, through to late in the evening on the 30th of April. But to be safe, and that's UK time, London, UK time. So to be safe, I think 29th of April is a day where you could set that aside, and that's a really good day to start something new, to launch a project. Maybe you want to register something, or it could be, and look, a lot of people get married on Akshaya Tritiya. Basically, the sun and the moon are exalted, and this is wonderful energy to embed into your venture, whatever it is that you're creating. And because this year we're going to have Rahu exalted, and let's have a look at that, 29th of April. Yeah, that's the Parivartana exchange is still going on there with Taurus. So what I'm going to suggest is that if you want to create a savings account or a pension account or something where you save money, this is going to be a good day to do that, because Venus is exalted, Rahu is in the same house. Venus and Rahu are great for accumulating wealth, and the sun and the moon will be exalted as well. It's amazing energy there on the 29th of April. So I just thought I'd give you a heads up on that. And of course, anyone else who wants to look up the UK state pension thing, definitely check that out as well. I thought I'd also cover off some of your comments before I crack on with what else have I got here. I've got lead up to April 2025 and March 2025, but I thought I'd cover off some of your comments just because it is a bit of a slow news day, so I might as well. And I just picked out a couple of good ones here that I wanted to talk through. So we've got here someone who has said, you are the second astrologer, the other one was Western, who used close encounters of the third kind as a reference to describe something about my ascendant. What are the odds? Wonder what that is about. That's amazing. That blew my mind when I read that. Thank you for sharing that, because yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't watch other astrologers anymore. I used to love watching astrology, but now because I do it, I don't watch anyone else. I just do my thing. And yeah, how amazing to hear that you heard that exact bit of guidance twice. I'm just amazed by that. I'm still amazed. So thank you for that comment. That was so fun to read. The other comment I wanted to bring up, which I really loved, was from, I'm guessing this would be a fellow Aussie, someone down under. We've got some boots on the ground news here, and I always like to hear what's really going on. And this was a great comment. You've written, since the onset of COVID-19, Australia has undergone significant changes. Numerous small businesses have closed their doors, leading to a critical shortage of housing. The middle class is becoming extinct, and the nation has also been hit hard by extreme weather events, leaving countless residents struggling to rebuild their lives. And I really wanted to bring this up. I thought it was a really good comment because you've given the picture of what it's like in Australia now. And I know that when I talked about the Australia chart, I think, was it in last time's monthly, the Feb monthly? I think that's where I did that. I was very positive, and I was looking far into the future, and I was very positive. Some sort of rose-tinted glasses maybe. Also, I'm an Aussie living out here in the UK. I probably miss Australia a bit. And the other thing is, when I go back home, I really appreciate how incredible the place is, like how amazing it is. It's a really special, beautiful part of the world. And it looks like that to the eye, but we don't realize what's really going on. And that's why I was so happy to read this comment. I wasn't happy to read this comment in that I'm sad to read that people are really struggling, but it's good to see the reality. It's good to see the truth. When I was in Australia from 2020 to 2023, and I thought the country did handle the pandemic really well, but it was too strict. That's what I felt there. I felt like it was far too strict. When I came back here, I saw like my town is still struggling. Shops are still shut, and things are starting to pick up a little bit and grow a little bit. It's improving a little bit, but things are still, not in good shape here. But I felt that Australia sort of, on the outside, it looks like Australia handled it really well, but there was a lot of damage even at the time. I'll give you a couple of news sources that I want to bring up, and this was someone that I watched during 2020 to 2023, and this is Cafe Lockdown. I'll just put a grab on the screen here. His community, this is run by a guy called Michael Gray Griffith, and I watched a lot of episodes, and he showed how so many people, due to some of the really strict regulations and things like that, they just couldn't keep going, and so many people end up living in their cars, living in vans. There was one episode I saw where there was a family living in their car, and he showed this car park where there were a lot of people parked there, and they were all there was a small little community, but they were getting by together. And yeah, he filmed them, and just he's always meeting people, filming people, showing the real Australia, showing what's really going on. And I definitely want to give a shout out to him. I'm going to go back and watch his episodes again. I haven't watched him for a really long time, but I'm going to go and watch what he's doing, because I think he's an amazing man who's shining a light on what's really happening in the country. It's hard with Australia because it looks so beautiful, and it's just, you know, it's yeah, seemingly doing really well, but the truth is there are a lot of people who are struggling at this time. There's another person I'll put up on the screen, the West Report. You might want to have a look at the West Report as well. He's an amazing investigative journalist who gets to the bottom of things. He, you know, meets people, figures things out, and he shares a lot of great stuff on his channel as well. So I just thought I would share all of that, because it's amazing, you know, this thing of having a time where you don't have a home. This is a lot more common than we realize. And I've seen it in the lives of clients of mine. In fact, I just read for someone recently who has a real talent for share trading. This person can magic up, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in a few days, kind of thing. Like, he has a talent, he has a gift, and he can easily do that. And yet this very person has had enormous hardship, has been without a home, and has had a lot of difficulties as well. And this is quite interesting to talk about in a community like this. We all love astrology. We all love this occult tool. And where does the occult live? The occult lives in the 8th house. And what is the 8th house? The 8th house is Scorpio. And it's other people's money. So when I read for this wonderful young man who's got the Vipreet Raj Yog there in the 8th house, there's a strong influx of wealth, but there's just as strong an outflux of wealth, you know. And the thing about the 8th house or Scorpio, and the same can apply actually if you've got strong Pisces or strong 12th house, there can be times where, you know, Pisces can make you lose your home. That's a possibility. And 8th house can do this as well. 8th house, yeah, you know, it's more common than people realize, and it's not really talked about very much. And I wanted to bring up the next comment, which ties in really well in this conversation. This is one of the long-term viewers here who, hello to you. You've always written just the most wonderful comments, and I thank you so much. And I wanted to read your comment as well, because it ties in with this very discussion about people not having a home for a time. And it is you'll find in the spiritual community especially that that this kind of thing happens. And it happens because, well, I'll read the comment first, and then I'll get into some astrological things here. But you've written here, thank you so much for your support over this Capricorn Moon Sati Sati period. I was homeless, living in my car for the first 5 years in the southeast of the USA. The last 2 years I have been living in a cabin with electricity but no plumbing. It is on a farm at the edge of the woods, and I can't imagine anything better when the weather is fine. Yes, simple living is the best thing. I was reading Yogananda last night. Oh, actually, I should have got that book, part of the book. He talks about that the best life is the simplest life, you know, where you just read your spiritual books and you have few things. He's right about that. So you've written here, I have learnt how resilient I am, what I can actually survive. Yeah, not much fear here now. Look at that, you've shrunk the fear right down. You're a fearless person. How strong, you know. You've written, and how creative I can be in making life safe, livable and lovable. It has been a very difficult 8 years, but it has taught me surrender, trust, and to appreciate the small gifts I've received. Actually, some of them have been massive gifts. Wouldn't have missed this for the world, but glad to see the end. Yes, you'll see the end now. Yeah. And this was a beautiful comment. Thank you for that, because it shows that, like, what a PhD level spiritual life is. So if you're a billionaire and for your whole life you never experience any form of hardship or loss or anything like that, spiritually speaking, that's the sort of kindergarten level. You know, humans, we like to think in terms of levels and all this kind of thing, even though the spiritual world doesn't work in that way. It doesn't have levels and hierarchies, but we do. So this is just an analogy to help us place things, because the world is upside down. The world values the billionaires, right? But the spiritual path is about righting ourselves back up. And the world out there values the billionaires, but spiritually they're at that kindergarten level. And my viewer here, who, you know, she said here she was without a home, living in her car. Yeah, and the people I was watching on Cafe Locked Out. And there will be a lot of people in this community, and I know that because we all love astrology. And because we love astrology, we've either got significant 8th house Scorpio or significant 12th house Pisces. Typically, astrology people will have a lot of 5-11 axis. So my client recently, who has the talent for share trading, look at that, your 5-11 axis. Okay, so he's a brilliant share trader, and yet there's 8th house tests. And one of the lines that I recently read in book club on my Patreon, I'll put a little thing about that if you want to check that out, anyone. But book club, we recently did Anatomy of the Spirit by Caroline Myss, and she talks about the fact that heaven will test your allegiance, and the tests are tough. The tests are, you know, you'll be stripped of everything. The tests are, you're going to be alone for a really long time. The tests are sort of no man's land, you know, you don't know when it's going to end kind of thing. I mean, but here in astrology, we try and work these things out, so we've got some idea. But yeah, these are some of the long, hard tests. And they will be several years long and this kind of thing. But look at that. You've shrunk that fear right down. And now you're quite invincible. And also, there's this thing of working out what is real. Working out the illusion from what is real and what really matters. That what's out there doesn't really matter, but what's inside, and all the good stuff is inside. That's where love is, and courage, and all those inner virtues, you know, patience, and all these incredible things. So yeah, what an amazing story that you've got there. But I want to say that, like, it is quite interesting. The whole being without a home is a thing that happens to way more people than we realize. And, you know, it is a part of life, but these are the people doing the PhD mastery level spiritual training, and they become fearless warriors. All right, so I think those were all there was actually one more comment that one of you had, and I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know where that's gone, but you'd written something about that you were scared, and I just wanted to briefly talk about that. I think you mentioned that you've got some difficult things in your chart and that you're feeling scared or worried about the time that is ahead. And what I wanted to say to that person was, it's really the quote by Shakespeare where he says, "Nothing is either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." And when we look at our chart, how we think about our placements, how we interpret them, how we understand them, it's important to pay attention to, you know, are we looking at the stars in an objective way? See, this is why it's hard to read your own chart, because you get emotional about it. This is why it's good to have someone else read it, because then you can get an objective idea. So if you're reading your own chart and it's scaring you or it's bringing you down or anything like that, I would say put down the chart and and meditate is what I would say. Get into the now, meditate, feel your feet on the ground, Breathe deeply. If you don't like meditation, just make a cup of tea very slowly and very consciously. Slowly and consciously, and sit and sip it slowly and consciously. That can be a form of meditation. Block out the world, and as well, use logic. Logic can be massively healing. I use logic a lot. Sometimes we need to feel our feelings and they ride through, but sometimes we need to get logical, and that can be very helpful as well. So yeah, there's no need to be scared of astrology or, one's chart. And yeah, it's good to put down the chart. Put down the chart. Don't look at it, until you can come back to it neutral and free of emotions. All right, guys. Well, let's have a look. What have I got here? We're not going to go into the mini. Oh, we've got just let's have a look. Lead up to April 2025. I think I've covered some of these things. So I've got here March as a lead up month to April. April can be hectic. It could be interesting. It could be confusing. Basically, we've got 6 planets. We've got a lot of activity there. And it's sort of that end of March, April. That's pretty intense there. So I've got here, we could feel that everything is up in the air. We're not sure what is what. I've got here, we could also feel that we don't have a grip on time, or that we don't have a grip on reality. Sometimes you can have this thing where you get to the end of your day and you think, wow, I worked so hard, but what did I achieve? What did I do? It could materialize even in that way. We've got to be conscious of this while Saturn is in Pisces, because Pisces is loss. Saturn is work. So it could even manifest in this kind of way as well. Yeah, I worked so hard, but what did I do? I've got here, in March, we're simply leading up to an impactful April. In April, we have 6 planets, including Neptune in Pisces. There will still be the Parivartana exchange between Jupiter and an exalted Venus. Mars will be debilitated, and I like that. I like that Mars is debilitated. Equally, that could mean people are up in their head a lot more, or there's threats of violence as opposed to anyone doing anything about it. So it could be some of that. I've got here, it might be hard to stay connected to time across this period. And I've got here, keep a diary, keep a journal, keep a watch, wear a watch. If you're not very good at keeping track of time, have a watch on you. I've got here, keep on top of time across this year. And then when we have a look at March, let's just have a quick look at March, the energy for March this year. What do we have going on? So I've got here 2nd of March, Venus goes retrograde. I do have the dates. Okay, 2nd of March, Venus goes retrograde, and then on 15th March, Mercury goes retrograde. There is a Parivartana exchange happening between Jupiter and Venus. This goes until 14th of May. And I'll read this for each sign in the mini reports. By the way, I'll also read, if you have got a Malavya Mahapurush Yoga, I'm going to be reading that for you too. There are 4 signs that will have that. Got here the cluster of planets in Pisces across March, which includes Sun, Rahu, and the 2 retrograde planets of Mercury and Venus. This energy is going to be brilliant for creative people, artists, using your imagination, meditation, visualization. It's great energy for escapism. So if you feel like you need to escape a little bit or to relax, do that. There's time, there's time across this year. It's kind of interesting because we've got this incredible Mars energy, and I'm really feeling it. I'm feeling like, I want to do all these creative things, but we also don't want to rush. We want to enjoy the process as well. So there is time. Don't feel like there's no time. I've got here, Saturn is leaving Aquarius. Yeah, look at that. Saturn, this is the last month for the energy of people power. Oh man. But then thank God, we've got Rahu going into Aquarius. I'm happy about this because we need the people power to keep going. We need to. But I think that will keep going. I think, people aren't going to just take whatever's coming. I think people are rebelling. I've got here, it's the last month of Saturn being in his own house. And you know what? Do you know what? When I thought about this energy of Saturn leaving his own two houses, I thought, I think he's excited to go on another big journey around, because what is it? So 30 years minus 5. It's about 25 years. He's not going to be at home. But I think Saturn likes that. I think Saturn likes, it's like, oh good, I'm going to go and do my work of checking on everyone else, you know? So I actually think Saturn's excited about this leaving Aquarius business, you know. I think he's done the work there. But it's all pretty interesting. Guys, I think we're good to go. We're good to have a look at the mini reports. Shall we do that? Are you coming with me? Are you going to go with me across the whole zodiac? Let's do this. How are we doing on time? We're okay. We've got a new memory card. Check the lighting. I think it's okay. I'm going to bring up my notes. All right, let's go. Aries. What have we got going on, Aries? I'm actually going to brighten this as well. Yeah, there we go. All right, Aries. What is happening? So let's talk about Venus and Mercury going retrograde. This is big energy for the month of March. And we're really going to feel the effects of this mid-month onwards. Now, Venus and Mercury together, they make up the artist archetype. That's where all the art comes from. And this for you is happening in your 12th house. So this is actually brilliant energy for artists. If you are creative, if you love art, if art is your hobby, if you're trying to make art your business, whatever it is, however you enjoy art, maybe you just like to consume art, you just love to go to the movies, or you love to go to a gallery, whatever it is, this is beautiful energy for art. So I've got here great energy for escapism as well. And I have here, but even though it's good for escapism, try to ground some of this high vibrational energy into some creative form. So this could be a sketch, it could be a plan, it could be a first draft. You know, I heard about Renzo Piano when he designed the Shard. Now, hopefully I've got this right. I always come up with these stories and then I want to Google them to make sure I'm correct, but I'm pretty sure. When I'm editing, I'll check it out. I'm pretty sure he drew the Shard on the back of a napkin. And I mean, it is just a big triangle really, but like still, it requires thought and skill and things that I don't know about. I mean, I could just say it's a triangle, but what do I don't know. I'm not an architect. But this is the thing. You, in your art, you know. And so maybe you're somewhere and there's a napkin and you're drawing something and that turns into something one day, right? It's this kind of energy. So I've got here, have a sketchbook or your phone handy this month. Maybe you take a picture of something and then that picture has the color palette for a dress that you're going to design, or I don't know, like it. But I've got here, ideas are in the air this month. Saturn in the 11th house. Someone one time asked Karl Lagerfeld, how do you stay just a little bit ahead of people? He was always able to figure out where the trend was going. And he said, ideas are in the air. And he had his Rahu in Aquarius. So we've got Saturn in Aquarius for the last month. So ideas are still in the air. And you might be picking some of those up. Now, Jupiter and Venus are exchanging in your 12th and 2nd houses. So again, great for creativity, art, beauty, any of that. But also excellent energy for speaking, communicating your ideas and your creativity through words. And financially, this is great energy for plugging holes or gaps in financial records. This could be a time maybe where you get on top of your financial admin and just get everything up to date, up to speed. Now on the 14th of March, we've got a full moon in Leo Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This is happening just at the end of your 5th house. So this is actually beautiful energy. I'm really looking forward to this full moon. I think it's going to be lovely. It's great energy for completing a creative project. There's very romantic energy here. And if you have children, you might just have a beautiful time with your children. And then on the 29th of March, we have got a new moon in Pisces, Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra. Now, not only is it a new moon in Pisces, Uttarabhadrapada, it is also a partial solar eclipse. So you could be jumped forward in some area of your life. Now, because this is happening in your 12th house, it could be that you are being jumped forward in terms of your spirituality. It might be that perhaps an occult gift of yours, maybe I don't know, your psychic abilities open up a lot more at this time. It's a possibility. Now, if nothing much happens or any of that, don't worry, because around the days of the 29th of March, you can also put in a wish. You could wish for spiritual blocks in your growth on your path to be removed. That's something you could wish for there. All right, Aries, well, it's looking like a really good month for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are now going to welcome Taurus. Taurus, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. This is Taurus Ascendant, Taurus Moon, or Taurus Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Venus and Mercury are both going to be retrograde, and we're really going to feel the impact of this from mid-month onwards. So this is impacting your 11th house, and this is excellent energy for sharing your creativity or art via social media. We have Rahu in the house, and when I've looked at the astrology for social media, some of the social media giants who've got like millions of subscribers, you'll see something like a Venus Rahu in the 11th house. It's a very typical signature. So it's a great time to create a social media platform. So it's a great time to create a social media platform. Equally, you might want to create that on Akshaya Tritiya. That's the 29th of April. You might want to do that there. You might want to populate your social media if you haven't been uploading much, or you might want to, just get onto that a bit more, that kind of thing. We've got Jupiter and Venus exchanging in your 1st and 11th houses. So that's also great for social media. You'll have energy to, you'll definitely have energy to post, to communicate, to share your thoughts, share your ideas. But this is also just good for your physical energy generally. There should be spare energy, spare money for you to have a bit of fun this month. Okay, so go somewhere new or meet with friends you haven't seen for a while. This is a good time to enjoy a bit, if you have been working hard and anyway, Taurus, you're supposed to be coming up into a good time now. Your Saturn's going to be good for a while, so you can enjoy a little bit at this time. 14th March, we've got a full moon, Leo, Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This is happening at the very end of your 4th house. So this is beautiful energy for cozy night in, cook up something delicious, and nurture yourself extra on this day. Beautiful energy, okay? Just block everything out, tell people, or maybe, I don't know, invite people to your house, because you've got all this 11th house thing. So maybe invite your friends home, but it's something about being at home and being cozy and making something delicious. And on the 29th of March, Taurus, you have got now I've got here, it is a partial solar eclipse. New moon, partial solar eclipse. There's also a new moon, Pisces Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra, happening in your 11th house. So it's possible for you to be jumped forward at this time. And because it's your 11th house, you might be jumped forward in terms of opportunities, monetary gain, perhaps expansion in your social media platforms or any of that kind of thing. It's also a great time to wish for Saturn to deliver your hopes, dreams, and wishes over the next 2 to 3 years. So what are those hopes, dreams, and wishes? You could actually write out a little list of what things you would like to have happen across the next 2 to 3 years. Taurus, it's looking like a beautiful month ahead for you. Thank you so much for joining. we are now going to welcome Gemini. Gemini, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Gemini Ascendant, Gemini Moon, or Gemini Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So now, Gemini, you are one of the lucky signs where your Venus is going to be in Malavya Mahapurush Yoga. This is quite beautiful. Venus will be in this beautiful yoga, this incredible state of being. Venus and Mercury will both be retrograde, and you're going to feel the effects of that mid-month onwards. This is happening in your 10th house. So this is really big energy at work. And it might be that your creativity is really on display at this time. It might mean that you are really seen at this time. You could be promoted at this time. It could be an excellent time to attract a new job, to switch jobs, to attract new clients, any of that. We've also got Jupiter and Venus exchanging in your 12th and 10th houses. So again, we've got that signature of changing jobs. It's a possibility, or something switching up at work, possibly. I've got here, it's an excellent time to update your CV, to fill any gaps in administrative records or even financial records connecting in with your work. Perhaps you have to go back over something and plug in the gaps or fill something in. I've got here, you could be planning work-related travel or new projects as well at this time. Now on the 14th of March, we've got a full moon in Leo Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This is happening at the very end of the 3rd house for you. So this is lovely energy for socializing with friends, or even grounding creative ideas into form. Maybe you're jotting something down. Maybe you're drawing an architecture map for a series of websites or something, or maybe you are doing the first draft of something, but you're grounding it, you're putting it on paper. And on the 29th of March, we've got a new moon in Pisces, Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra. This is happening in your 10th house. So not only that, it's a partial solar eclipse, guys. So this is happening in your 10th house. You could be jumping forward at work. Okay, so if you've been working really, really hard, but you feel like nothing much is happening, it could be from this point onwards, you get jumped forward somehow. That is a possibility. And it's also on the 29th of March, a great time to wish that Saturn will help restructure your career with ease across the next 2 to 3 years. So you can put in a wish directly to Saturn and say, look, help me out here, help me restructure my career. Gemini, it's a real career time for you. And if, let's say, for example, you're retired, you're not working, any of that, it's something to do with you being in the world. Something there. Maybe you're out and about a lot more, or, you're doing more, or you're engaged more in the world at this time. All right, well, I want to thank you so much for joining, Gemini. We are now going to welcome Cancer. Cancer, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. The lighting has changed. I've had to turn the light on. It's just an old school lamp. I don't have one of those ring lights or any of that. But it's so funny. Do you know the last full moon that we had? It was a Gandanta full moon. I had a huge headache, and the fuse for that lamp blew. When I turned the lamp on, there was this loud pop, and it was just really crazy. And I managed to do the whole unscrew the thing and put in a new fuse. It's working. Right, so who do we have here? We've got Cancer. Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Moon, or Cancer Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So what do we have going on, Cancer? Well, it's a big month. We've got both Venus and Mercury going retrograde, and you're really going to feel the effects of this mid-month onwards. Now, this is happening in your 9th house, so there could be a lot of ambition. You might be feeling very ambitious. You might feel this incredible drive to take charge of your whole life and get on with things and get going. I've got here, write down your thoughts, your ideas, your plans, put them on paper, and you are going to have plenty of time to execute things. So sometimes we can think faster than we can execute, and this feels like one of those times. Pin it all down on paper. Capture the plans, because you're going to have a lot of good ideas this month. Now I've got here, it's also a really great time for study, great time for skilling up, great time for executive education, any of these things. Now Jupiter and Venus are exchanging in your 11th and 9th houses. So you could be making travel plans, and that could be with friends, this could be in connection with work, this could be in connection with study. You might also have spare money or the ability to invest in a qualification or program that you would like to do. I've got here, you could actually be traveling. You could actually be going somewhere across this time period. You could also just be saving or setting aside money for future travel. There could be a feeling that you've caught the travel bug at this time. That's a possibility. You just might have, I want to go somewhere, you know, it's just that feeling. Now on the 14th of March, there's a full moon in Leo, Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This is happening at the very end of your second house. So this is lovely energy for a cozy night in. Cook up something delicious and treat yourself to something special. I don't know what that special thing is, but go all out and have that special something. 29th March, we've got a new moon in Pisces, Uttar Bhadrapada Nakshatra. This is happening in your 9th house. Now, it's not just a new moon, it's a solar eclipse. And it's not just any solar eclipse, it's a partial solar eclipse. So you could be jumped forward in your life, and that's happening in your 9th house. So you could be jumped forward in terms of authority, level of responsibility, recognition, being recognized by people above you. It could be that kind of energy as well. I've got here, you could also wish that Saturn will help you skill up and promote you to be the expert in your field across the next 2 to 3 years. So when we're looking at the next 2 to 3 years, Saturn's movement there in the 9th house, you can really ask Saturn at this time, because there's going to be a new moon. Saturn has just stepped into Pisces, the new moon is right there. So we've got a direct line to Saturn here, so you can really wish or ask for, hey, I need to be promoted, I need to be accelerated in some way. And I've seen this happen in people's lives where they've been working, nothing happening, and then boom, they're taken to that incredible place where they always wanted to be. Cancer, I want to thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Leo. Leo, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Leo Ascendant, Leo Moon, or Leo Sun, as per the Sidereal Vedic system of astrology. It's a big month, Leo. We've got Venus and Mercury. They're both going to be retrograde, and you'll really feel the effects mid-month onwards. This is happening in your 8th house, so there is a lot of energy for you to be spiritually creative. I've got here, mix up your spiritual routines, try new things. And there could be an emphasis on shared assets, or even how to redesign a shared living space. Maybe you want to redesign something at home or make it more beautiful. Maybe you're tired of it being a certain way and you have to change things up. So this is the time to do that. Now Jupiter and Venus are both exchanging in your 10th and 8th houses. So something of your psychic gifts could be helping you to figure things out regarding your work. Maybe you're just quite particularly attuned and you figure out, oh, that's why they're doing this thing, or you see the behind the scenes stuff, or you know ahead of time, or something like this. And I've got here, you could be getting special insights or downloads regarding your next moves at work. On the 14th of March, there is a full moon in Leo, Purva Falguni Nakshatra, end of your 1st house. This is your full moon, Leo. So it's a beautiful full moon. It's romantic and creative. So definitely enjoy this energy. And while I was putting together your notes, I had to look up what day is this on. It's on Friday. So I got here, it's Friday night. So you can do something special on that Friday night. Whatever it is that you feel would be a treat for you, do that on the 14th of March. And on the 29th of March, we have got a partial solar eclipse. It's new moon, Pisces, Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra. It's happening in your 8th house, but yes, it is a solar eclipse. So you could be jumped forward in 8th house matters. So this could be, I think, to do with your psychic gifts. It could be some acceleration that happens there. You might be particularly psychic on that day, or there's something about, yeah, that you're really tapped in on that day. That's the sense that I'm getting. And because it's a new moon as well as a solar eclipse, you can wish for something. And because Saturn is there, the new moon is there, and Saturn has just stepped into the house. So you've got a direct line to Saturn. So I would say talk to Saturn directly on this day and ask that your psychic gifts be enhanced across the next 2 to 3 years, and or that any blockages that are in your way, that they be removed. It's looking like an amazing month for you ahead, Leo. We are now going to welcome Virgo. Virgo, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Virgo Ascendant, Virgo Moon, or Virgo Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. Now, Virgo, you are one of the lucky people who've got a beautiful Venus in Malavya Mahapurush Yoga. It's stunning. You've got a great Venus here. And Venus and Mercury will both be retrograde across, well, Venus is going to be retrograde across the month, and Mercury will be retrograde mid-month onwards. So mid-month onwards, you're going to feel the effect of both of these retrograde planets. And together they make up the artist archetype. So this is really interesting because it's happening in your 7th house. So this is great energy for you as an artist. It's great energy for you to build your social media platforms, great for you to connect with foreign people, foreign markets, foreign places. It could be that you're planning some travel overseas. That's a possibility, or you are traveling. It's not the best energy for love life, I will say that. Because Venus and Mercury are together and they're both powerful and they're both very focused, this energy might make you very analytical in love. And that's not the best energy for love life. It's sort of a bit of a romance killer when there's too much analysis, right? So yeah, I've got here, it's ideal to give your partnership some space. This is better for you to use this beautiful energy for yourself, and perhaps not to expect too much from your partner is what I would say. It's good for creativity, creative time for you to get on and do your thing. Now, Jupiter and Venus are exchanging in your 9th and 7th houses. So your skills and expertise could really be in demand this month. Share what you know, okay? Don't feel blocked by thinking that you don't know enough or any belief. If you've got some belief in place, I suffer from this too. I always think I don't know enough and I need to read more books and I need this and I need that. And yeah, I do. But then people, they book me and they want to know what I have to say. So I guess because I've got the structures in place now, so people request me. And I'm a human design projector, so I have to be asked, I have to be requested. That might be something you might want to look up, Virgo, your human design type. I'll put the information on the screen, how to look that up. But yeah, it's important for you to share what you know now. You know enough. So share it. Don't feel like you need to learn more or know more. There's something about you being ready. You know enough. Because we can always think, I need to read another book, or I need another qualification, or I need this, or I need that. No. You know enough now. Share it now. So that's really needed for someone out there in this Virgo group. Because I remember when I was writing these notes, there was a strong sense that you've got to share now. 14th March, we've got a full moon in Leo, Purva Falguni Nakshatra. So this is happening at the very end of your 12th house. This is a very spiritual and beautiful time. It's a good time to keep a dream diary at this time. Apologies, Virgo, it cut out. I think I was saying it's a good time to keep a dream diary. You might be quite psychic at this time. You might have a lot of ideas. You might even have visions or be able to see the future. It could be you have a lot of creative ideas at this time as well, that it's worth just pinning those down. It's worth just putting them on paper. Now on the 29th of March, we have got, now it's technically a new moon in Pisces Uttar Bhadrapada Nakshatra, but it's a new moon with Rahu there, so it really is a partial solar eclipse. That is happening there on the 29th of March. Now this is happening in your 7th house. So because it's a solar eclipse, you could be jumped forward, and you could be jumped forward in the area of your heart, in the area of your love life. So perhaps something might be accelerated. It might be that maybe you've been with someone for a long time, and who knows, maybe you get jumped forward, maybe a commitment happens or something along these lines. There is a cluster of 6 planets here, so there is a lot of big energy in this area. I've got the note here, because there's a new moon, you can wish for something. So you could wish that Saturn will mature your heart and your partner's heart if you're in a relationship, or, you know, it might, that Saturn might heal something in your heart space or in your partner's heart space as well. Equally, if you're single, this is the perfect time to wish for Saturn to bring in that dream person, you know, that one and only. So you can wish for that on the 29th of March if you're single and looking to be with someone. Equally, if you're single and you don't want to be with someone, maybe you want to create a business or write a book or launch something into the marketplace. So on the 29th of March, you can ask for that activity to go smoothly or to happen, or, you know, whatever that is. But Virgo, it is looking like a very interesting month ahead for you. I'm wishing you well. We are now going to welcome Libra. Libra, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Libra Ascendant, Libra Moon, or Libra Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. What do we have this month, Libra? Well, we have got a big month here. Venus and Mercury will both be retrograde, and you'll really feel the effects of this from mid-month onwards. Now, these two form the artist archetype, and so this is going to be great energy for art or any of that. This is happening for you in your 6th house, and the sun is there this month. So for you, this is winning energy. You could win a legal battle, you could win over the competition, you could be seen, you could be recognized. There's something about success being here for you this month. Now, there might be some chaos, okay? It could be chaotic, it could be hectic, but there's something about you being fine, okay? So there's something about the planets are literally helping you to win. So don't worry if there's chaos. Don't worry if it's a bit hectic or even confusing. There's something about you being connected to time and you doing really well. Saturn is going to continue this over the next 2 to 3 years. So don't be put off by hectic energies or chaos out there. Let that be there. There's something about you doing just fine. So you're going to be fine. Now, Jupiter and Venus are exchanging in your 8th and 6th houses. So this is incredible, because this also gives both Jupiter and Venus a Vipreet Raj Yoga. Okay, they each have the Vipreet Raj Yoga. So this is quite incredible. There could be a challenge this month. Okay, there could be some kind of challenge, some kind of difficulty that you'd rather not deal with. But due to this Vipreet Raj Yoga configuration, you will have the courage to handle it, to face it, to deal with it, to sort it. You're just going to be amazing. I've got here, you're going to come out on top. So whatever this is, equally nothing might happen as well. That's also a possibility. But for some of you, something might happen. I'd be really interested to know if this is you, because I do feel like this could be some people in this group here, where there could be some challenge, but you're going to just deal with it head on and you're going to come out on top. I've got here your wisdom and skill levels are high at this time. Venus and Jupiter, I'm sort of visualizing the 6th and the 8th houses, they're exchanging. Your wisdom and skill levels are going to be really high. You're going to do something very well across this month. Now on the 14th of March, we've got a full moon in Leo, Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This happens at the very end of your 11th house. So something might be completing regarding an older sibling or your friends or network circles, something along those lines. Something could be culminating, coming to the end, completing, but there's a gentle feeling about this full moon. I quite like it. This is soft energy and nice. And on the 29th of March, we have got a partial solar eclipse. It's technically a new moon as well in Pisces Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra. So this is happening for you in your 6th house. And as it is a partial solar eclipse, you could be jumped forward in some area of your life. So it's possible for you to be jumped forward at work, since this is happening in your 6th house. Maybe you're jumping forward in your work. Maybe if you're self-employed, you're getting a whole load of new clients, or there's a platform being built. You're going up in life now. And this is really tying in to the fact that Saturn wants to give you lots of new opportunities across the next 2 to 3 years. It's amazing energy, Libra. I think you've got just one of the most incredible setups this month. I'm very excited for you. This is beautiful energy, what you've got here. It's yeah, lovely to look at as an astrologer with those Vipreet Raj yogs, the Parivartana exchange, all of that. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We are now going to welcome Scorpio. Scorpio, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Scorpio Ascendant, Scorpio Moon, or Scorpio Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So this is a big month, Scorpio. We've got Venus and Mercury. They'll both be retrograde, and you'll really feel the effects of this mid-month onwards. This is happening for you in your 5th house. So this is excellent energy for creativity. It's also really good energy for financial investing. You might be feeling really ambitious at this time. You might be feeling that you want to get ahead. You might be feeling you have lots and lots of creative ideas. So ground the ideas on paper and know that you've got time to execute your plans this year. Very often we can think faster than we can execute. So put the plans on paper and take a bit of time with the materialization and execution of those plans. Now, Jupiter and Venus are both exchanging in your 7th and 5th houses. So you might have a lot of new business ideas. You might have ideas on how to engage foreign markets or foreign places or foreign people. There's some foreign element to this as well. I've got here, you might be making travel plans for the future. Equally, you might even be traveling at this time. It could be a good time for your social media as well. So lots of things could grow at this time, Scorpio. Now on the 14th of March, we've got a full moon in Leo, Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This is happening at the very end of your 10th house. So something could complete at work. And it's a nice time to look back and see how far you've come career-wise. You have actually grown a lot, Scorpio. You have done so much over the many years. And I remember reading for you guys when you were in the... I feel like I remember reading for you guys when you were in the Sadi Sati. Have I got that right? Well, anyway, I just have this vibe that I remember reading for you guys for a long time. And you have grown so much, Scorpio. You have achieved a lot. You have done so much. So much time has passed. You're so much wiser. You're so much more experienced. And at this time, it's a really good time to look back on that journey. So that's on the 14th of March. Now on the 29th of March, we have got a partial solar eclipse happening, and it's technically a new moon. So that's a new moon signature in Pisces Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra, but it is a solar eclipse. So you could be jumped forward in some area of your life, and this could be connecting in with your 5th house. There's a cluster of 6 planets there. It's pretty hectic energy going on here. So I've got here, you could really be jumped forward in terms of, I sort of want to say, your your personal standing in the world is coming to mind. Wow, that's huge. It's like who you are in your profession, in the world. There's something about this. Maybe you're going up. Maybe you could be being promoted at this time. Or yeah, you could be jumped forward. It could be professionally, is how I'm seeing that. I've got here, wish for Saturn to bring you a long-term partner if you're single. So you can be putting in a wish at this time. It is a new moon signature. So if you're single and you really want to meet someone, wish for Saturn to bring you that person. And Saturn really has 2 to 3 years, the next 2 to 3 years, to bring that to you. So, but you can be putting that wish in now. You've got a kind of direct line to Saturn because the new moon signature is happening while Saturn is just stepping there into Pisces. It's pretty amazing energy. All right, Scorpio, thank you so much for tuning in. We are now going to welcome Sagittarius. Sagittarius, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Sagittarius Moon, Sagittarius Ascendant, or Sagittarius Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Sagittarius, you are one of the lucky people. Your Venus will be in a Malavya Mahapurush Yoga. It's very beautiful. And both Venus and Mercury will be retrograde across this month. You will really feel the effects of both of these mid-month onwards. Now, this is happening for you in your 4th house. So you might be getting ideas on how to rearrange your home or how to organize things in your home better. You might be clutter clearing, you might be redecorating, redesigning. There's something about making your home more beautiful. I've got here, you might also be getting ideas to improve your diet. Maybe you just need a bit of a shake-up. Maybe you've just been eating the same thing and it's time to find some new recipes. It's time to do something a bit different. And it's also a really good time to work from home this month as well. If you're doing any of that flexible working and you're able to work more from home, this is a good month for that. Now, Jupiter and Venus are exchanging in your 6th and 4th houses. So I've got here, be careful with this energy because there could be situations that arise where you are right, so you're definitely in the right, but people around you want conflict, okay? So it's not you, it is them. But I've got here, take time out from certain people if you need to. So I totally understand this. Sometimes when I'm reading for people and I see that they've got some configuration and I'm like, see, you're right. And I'll tell people this on the Zoom sessions and they're like, yes, I'm right. And I'm like, I know you're right. But then these people are going to come in and yeah, I know, but you're right. So don't worry about that. You are in the right. They might really be wrong. And yet there's going to be some conflict. Something like this could happen. I know. I see these configurations come from time to time. It's tricky. Yeah. That's karma. Yeah, that's karma when it's like, and it's like, how am I in this situation? I know. Something like that could arise, but I also feel it's mild and you'll handle it well. Let's have a look. 14th March, we've got full moon. It's that 6th house. It's that self-righteousness thing. So if it's not coming through you, it'll be coming through somebody else. It's that. Now, 14th of March, there's a full moon in Leo, Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This is happening towards the very end of your 9th house. So something is completing regarding something you're learning. Maybe you're graduating from something. Maybe you're finishing something. Maybe you're finishing a book that you've been loving learning from. There could also be something completing in relationship with your father, or in relationship with the concept of authority or actual authority, but there's something completing here on the 14th of March. And on the 29th of March, we've got a new moon, Pisces, Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra. It's not just a new moon, it is a partial solar eclipse. So this is quite big because this could jump you forward in some area of your life. So this is happening in your 4th house. We've also got a cluster of 6 planets here in the 4th house. There's a lot of activity and a lot of focus in your 4th house of home. So it could be that you're jumped forward. Maybe you've always wanted to get something repaired and then boom, it just happens. All of a sudden you manage to call someone says, look, call this guy, he's really good, and then you do and it gets sorted out. something like this. I've got here, you could also ask Saturn to help make major improvements to your living space in the next 2 to 3 years. So it could be something like that. Equally, it could be, well, it could be a few other things. I'm also thinking of the possibility of, I know someone who he is having to deal with his mother's place and it's full of stuff, and you know, she doesn't want to get rid of it, but he knows it's very important that she gets rid of it. But then it's like over the next 2 to 3 years, somehow he helps her clear all of that stuff out. It's that kind of thing. The focus is on home. Could be your home, could be your mother's home, could be your relationship with mother. But any of all of this, there's some focus going on there with the home. Sagittarius, I'm wishing you well. It's looking like a good month ahead. Take care. We are now going to welcome Capricorn. Capricorn, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Capricorn Ascendant, Capricorn Moon, or Capricorn Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So now Capricorn, what do we have going on? You've got a lovely month ahead. We've got Venus and Mercury both retrograde this month. You're going to feel the effects of that mid-month onwards, and this is happening for you in your 3rd house. So I've got here, you can experience a surge of courage and ambition this month. New ideas are going to come in. You might be feeling creative again after a long time. I've got here, this is great energy for socializing. It's great energy for noting down any creative ideas that you have and or travel plans. And don't worry if you feel like you don't have the time to execute all of these plans. You're going to have the time. But this is a good time to get those ideas. They're in the air. I think I was telling this to Aries. Karl Lagerfeld used to talk about the ideas are in the air. You know, it's like getting those ideas and putting them on paper. There's something like this going on across this month for many signs. So yeah, you're one of those. But the time to execute, because we can always think faster than we can execute. So the time to execute with the plans will come across this year. Jupiter and Venus are exchanging in your 5th and 3rd houses. And I've got here, this is where the creative energy is coming from. It really is time to build the next platform up. You've got a little bit of a spark there. You've got a bit of firepower there with the 5th house. It's like an ignition. It's like we're going somewhere. So you're igniting something. You're getting ready to go. It's time to build the next platform up. And I've got here, build now with the consciousness of either a queen or a king. Okay, embody that regal energy. We've got the 5th house here. And I've got, if the universe asked you what you want, what would you say? Or if God materialized somehow and said to you, what do you want? Do you know what you want? And are you ready to receive it? So these are the things to contemplate at this time. Now on the 14th of March, we've got a full moon in Leo Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This is happening at the very end of your 8th house. So you might be extra psychic on this day. It's a good time to note down any ideas or dreams. And on the 29th of March, we've got a new moon in Pisces, Uttar Bhadrapada Nakshatra. This is happening in your 3rd house. There's a cluster of 6 planets here. Not only is it a new moon, guys, it's a new moon signature, but it's a partial solar eclipse. So this could actually jump you forward there in your 3rd house. And this is powerful energy, because if over the last, say for example, 7 to 8 years, you've been feeling like, I feel like I'm behind, or I stalled, or I should be much further ahead. This is the time where Saturn can quite literally like jump you forward. And I have seen this in the lives of my clients. I have seen incredible things where people were working for like 25 years and things like that, that whole long stretch, you know. They've been working for that long, and then Saturn will hit that 11th from the moon, and then just an avalanche of something comes in. I've seen that for some people. I've seen amazing things. So, you know, this could be a time where you are powerfully jumped forward. Equally, if that doesn't happen, It doesn't matter, because whatever great karma that you are constantly accumulating, Saturn never forgets. You will be rewarded. It will come to you. So, you know, it's, yeah, sometimes with timing it can be hard to see or to know. But Capricorn, you've got great things coming for you over the next 2 to 3 years. I'm so excited for you. Enjoy this energy. It's just going to be a beautiful month ahead, and you'll see each month is just going to steadily get better and better and better. So if you don't have that giant avalanche of, you know, whoosh, that's really a Nichabang Raj Yog thing. You know, I've seen this happen in people's lives, or like a Parivartana exchange activates and then they're just, yeah, oh, I've seen amazing things. So I don't know what you have in your actual chart. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Aquarius. Aquarius, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Aquarius Ascendant, Aquarius Sun, or Aquarius Moon. Ascendant Sun or Moon. There we go. I went in that way. Ascendant Sun or Moon as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. All right, Aquarius, what have we got going on here? So we've got Venus and Mercury. They're both going to be retrograde across this month. And you'll really feel the effects of this from mid-month onwards. This is happening for you in your second house. So this is impacting your long-term savings and wealth. This is time to build up your wealth after the slow growth. Okay, for the last 5 years or so, I mean, it's probably been really slow. I've got here, sort out all your financial admin and open up new long-term savings accounts or a pension account or one of those big accounts where you put the money in and, you know, you don't see it kind of thing. It's good to create that now, where Saturn's going into your second house. It might be that you're researching these things. Maybe you don't open the account. Maybe you're just looking into it, you're learning about it. Ideally, on the 29th of April, you could open an account there if you want to open a savings account. But even this month is good too. On the 29th of April, it's a good time to open the account there because it's Akshaya Tritiya. Akshaya Tritiya is where the sun and the moon are exalted. And this year we're going to have Venus exalted as well. Not just any Venus, it's a Venus Rahu. Venus Rahu is a great signature for money. So it's good for you to be financially focused across this month and even just be learning about this stuff. Now, if it's not finances that you're looking into, maybe it's diet. Maybe you're improving your diet at this time. Now, we've got Jupiter and Venus exchanging in your 4th and 2nd houses. I've got here, you could be sorting out finances as you might be getting a mortgage set up or something like that, or the savings that you do now and over the next 2 to 3 years, that might help you get a mortgage later on. So, yeah, there's some really interesting things going on. And again, that Jupiter-Venus exchange between 4th and 2nd houses, that could be dietary as well. So there could be something where you're looking at your diet and you're just maybe making some tweaks or being a bit more disciplined or something along those lines. Maybe you're just changing it up because you've been having the same things for a while. Now, 14th of March is a full moon in Leo, Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This is happening at the very end of your 7th house. So this is a beautiful and romantic moon for you and your partner to enjoy. How lovely. Maybe you go out for dinner or something like that. I think it's a Friday night, so that could be nice. Now, if you're single, maybe you're wishing for that true love to come into your life, you know, and it could be you discover a new closeness to God. You know, God is your partner. If 7th house is quite significant in your chart and you're single, you might be discovering that God is always there for you. And 29th of March, we've got a new moon in Pisces, Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra. Not only is it a new moon, guys, that is the official new moon signature, but it is a solar eclipse. It's a partial solar eclipse. Rahu is there. So this could really jump you forward in some area of your life. Now, this is happening in your 2nd house. So this could jump you forward financially. And I've got here, if it's not jumping you forward financially, I've got here, this is a time to wish for the big money to come in. Okay, this is the time to be financially focused and putting some energy and attention towards that. Just getting the structure, just setting things up, just getting up to speed. Maybe you're learning about certain accounts or tools or something. I don't know, but it could be that you are structuring things. And yes, it's solar eclipse, and yes, this has the power to jump you forward, but equally things might still grow slowly for you financially. So bear that in mind as well. I'm not quite sure, the setup of your chart, for example, but I know for the setup of my chart, everything grows slowly. It's like I just have slow. It's just like everything, Saturn's touching everything and lording everything and conjunct everything. So yeah, everything's slow for me. But I've got here, it's possibly been dry for you financially for the last 5 years. Yeah, that's quite a possibility. But it's like now things are if things aren't coming in quite a big way, things will gradually go up. Wait, this way, up. So yeah, things are gradually going to go up. Aquarius, I'm wishing you well. Take it easy. I'll see you in the next one. We are now going to welcome Pisces. Pisces, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Pisces Ascendant, Pisces Moon, or Pisces Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Pisces, you are one of the lucky signs that has your Venus in Malavya Mahapurush Yoga. It's a very strong Venus at the moment. Well, will be across this month. Actually, is it that way now? Let's just take a little look. I'll bring up a Pisces chart. Oh, I see I quit out of... Let's bring up an Aries moon. I'll still get the right info even though it's Aries moon. Right now, because I'm recording this on the 17th of Feb. Oh yeah, you're a Pisces. Malavya Mahapurush Yoga is happening for you right now. It's beautiful. Really lovely energy. Your Venus is in great shape. Venus and Mercury will both be retrograde, and you're really going to feel the effects of this from mid-month onwards. This is happening in your first house. So I've got here, this one's quite interesting. Because you're Pisces and because you're so tuned in spiritually, I've got here, it's perfectly fine if you're feeling the confused energy of this month. And there's confused energy, I think, in April as well. You might be very onto this because you feel it. You're like, yeah, there's a confusion in the air. It could be like that. I've got here, the planets are working to help you define yourself at this time. And I've got here, in this energy, you can reinvent yourself in some way. So it's good for you to be very self-focused. Don't worry about, because I think there's going to be a bit of chaos out there, and I think there is some confused energy, or because we've got Saturn changing signs now. So Saturn's coming under the lordship of Jupiter. So there's going to be like a transitional energy, and it's that thing that I'm saying could be the cause of confusion. Also, this is Pisces opposite Virgo. Virgo can be chaotic. So yeah, there's either confused energy or chaotic energy, and I feel like people are going to find it hard to grasp time or stay grounded or stay connected to time, or because things are going to go a bit abstract possibly, and things are, yeah, so it's interesting. It's interesting how this whole thing is going to work. And I feel like you as a Pisces, you're going to feel that, but you're going to be fine, kind of thing. It's like you're going to recognize the energy that you know really well. You're going to recognize it out in the world, but you're going to be fine because you know this energy. And I feel like you've got extra energy to help reinvent yourself in some way. So focus on you. Don't worry about out there. Just focus on you. And the beautiful energy that you have to play with at this time is actually, it's Venusian energy. So I've got here, you could change your style. You could change your wardrobe. You could change your diet, right? You could really go strong on the self-care, improve your diet, clean up your diet a little bit, or treat yourself. This is Venus, you know, maybe you want to treat yourself a bit here and there. But I've got here, it's a great month for you to experiment. Experiment with some new things. And maybe you want to change your hairstyle, or you want to do something radically different, or just try something you haven't tried before. We've got Jupiter and Venus exchanging in your 3rd and 1st houses. I've got here, you have the courage to try new things. Perfect time. It's the absolute perfect time to really experiment. I've got here, experiment, open a social media platform, try it, test some things out, and then shut it down if you don't want to keep it going. But it's something about trying. You're playing, you're trying, you're experimenting, you're creating. I've got here, don't be afraid to expand and express yourself in new ways. So you're trying new things, you're doing different things, you're experimenting, and there's something fun about this. And there's something about where you're in the know. You know that the world out there, there's all this transitional, a bit of chaotic or confused energy, but you're just investing energy back into yourself, and you're fine. I've got here 14th March, we have a full moon in Leo, Purva Falguni Nakshatra. This is happening at the very end of your 6th house. So something is culminating, it's coming to a close at work, or how you serve the collective. There's something about service, and there's something about closure or end of a cycle, or something along those lines. And then on the 29th of March, we've got a new moon in Pisces, Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra. But this is not just a new moon. It's a partial solar eclipse, and it's happening for you in your 1st house. This is huge, Pisces. This is your eclipse. This is major. There's a cluster of 6 planets here. See, there's a lot of self-focus. There's a lot of focus on you. It could be you in terms of who you are, but it could also be to do with your physical body as well. I could imagine there would be a lot of energy. I would imagine your energy should be quite good at this time. But I've got here with the 29th of March partial solar eclipse, you can wish for any blockages to be removed at this time. We've got a direct line to Saturn because the new moon signature is happening right at that place where Saturn is just stepping in to the sign. So Saturn will hear your wish, your request. So wish for any blockages to be removed at this time, and that's really on the 29th of March. Equally, Pisces, you might find that solar eclipse has the power to jump you forward. So if you felt behind in your life, or if you felt like, oh, I need to, I should be further ahead than I am, or that kind of thing. Saturn has the power, all the planets have the power, really. I mean, we've got the sun and moon and Rahu and all of this has the power to bring you forward or correct something if that needs to happen at this time. Pisces, and anyone who's watched the whole video, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I haven't been doing a Sati Sati check-in in this episode, but don't worry, we'll be doing that as we go forward. I will look out for you guys. But what we're going to do is, what have I got next? Let's see. I think, well, there's this video. It's a Jupiter video. I've got to do the Jupiter video. Jupiter's going to go into Gemini. I've got a bit of time for that. I think that's May. And then we've also got a Rahu Ketu shift coming. So I've got some more big videos coming up. I'm currently on Patreon these days, guys. I'm making a lot of content there. But I am going to be here more on YouTube. I will have the time. It will happen. There's just one of me. So yeah, I'm always working on stuff all the time. But come over onto Patreon if you'd like to. I am there. I'm doing a book club. At the moment, we're doing a Deepak Chopra book, The 7 Laws of Spiritual Success. It's up there. I'm trying to look for the title, 7 Laws of Spiritual Success. But I want to do some like Neville Goddard on there, and I'll tell you when I do it. Neville Goddard, Stuart Wilde, Joseph Murphy, these kind of people. So yeah, there'll be some cool stuff there. And of course the lessons are there too. If anyone wants to learn astrology, you are very welcome. But I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.